Hi, Thrand here.
Hey, this is Eldgrim.
We want to bring you a special presentation right now. We went to the local rock station because they saw our very first video, actually, and all the news articles that were mirrored about it, of the lightsaber test, the Crossguard Lightsaber test. In our very first video, we used an SCA sword dipped in paint. You all saw that. Then we kind of progressed to our PVC pipe with a weighted handle because everybody said that the blade wasn't that heavy. And now we've got our, better looking sword that we actually used in our latest video, and I actually dual wield these, or whatever you want to call it. Florentine's what I would call it if you were talking in more historical sense. It's called in some manuals, and some people call it Florentine fencing and so on. But I dual wield these, and we also test out the power blow theory. If y'all haven't seen that, be sure and check that out.
That's right.
But we went to C101. We hung out with Rex Gabriel
and Gino Montalvo.
And we had a great time. And we're going to give you that interview in 1 second. We're not trying to take up too much of your time, but we just want to let you know we kind of finished out our Star Wars videos. We may come back eventually and do a combat sequence because somebody wants us to see us actually try to fight. Not choreographed, but just see how this thing would work if you were just outright fighting if you'd mess up. I thought we had tested everything, though.
Yeah.
But that's what they're asking. And you're like, well, I guess. I mean,
they want to see us actually spar with something like
I think
these.
they just want to see us fight in general.
That's pretty much the general consensus.
I think they just want us to have fun with lightsabers. We're having fun with them anyway. And this was really cool to make. But
that was the J.J Abrams Crossguard Lightsaber design that's been debated and tested in our videos. And, of course, we like to kind of tinker with new designs for lightsaber technology, one of which...
that reminds me of the Secret World right there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, the great thing is you could carry a lightsaber.
Definitely. I'll hand you... Yeah, there you go. That's kind of insane. That's almost a Scottish idea, using a targe with a dagger or dirk behind it. You know what we were talking about?
So, yeah, it's like a Jedi or Sith style fist weapon based on sort of a Japanese...
As an offhand, I could see that. I could very easily see it as an offhand. You could still rip two-handed with it and use it. I mean, I know people think it gets cheesy after a certain point in time of having shields and stuff. Like you made the Sith
shield,
center boss shield. Instead of just being a shield like in some of the comics, it's just a shield that deflects stuff. You made one that was actually damaging. It'd be used against your opponent.
Be a Sith style.
And everybody liked that. I've seen all the comments for that. Thank you all very much.
Yeah, thank you.
And what was the other thing you said you were?
Oh yeah, well, I'm a big fan of James Bond movies. You know, and one of my favorites is From Russia with Love. And, of course, we also like the Beverly Hillbillies. We grew up with that in syndication.
Oh, yeah,
and
definitely.
You've got to remember, man, anytime Smirsh comes kicking at you, you have to have your own Sith boot.
Oh, yeah, that was awesome. So it actually has a lightsaber blade in the boot. And how many times have you guys seen a kick in the movies? Everybody talks about how many times somebody got their hands or arms cut off of their wrist, and this might have helped. You know how many times they get a kick in when they're clenched with the blades?
Right.
I've seen kicks in the movie over and over. That would gut a man.
I'll tell you what.
I like the idea.
That'll gut Smirsh if Smirsh comes a kicking at me.
I don't know how honorable it would be, but... Oh, Jethro Bodine.
All you need is a Maladorian iron hat to put on and knock yourself out.
Yeah, there you go. And you know what? That's funny about that is that was in the Bond movie, and I remember seeing it. And it was so serious in the movie.
Oh, the blade in Smirsh's loafer.
Yeah, she cut the heck out of everything. He's holding stuff up trying to stop her. She's trying to kick him.
Yeah, it was really awesome.
In the shoe.
So could you imagine a Sith with a little lightsaber blade that shoots out of his boot?
Or better yet, if it was Darth Bodine, I guess.
Darth Bodine! Darth Jethro! He'd have it backwards in the boot. He'd have burned his own foot off.
A hot foot.
Anyway, in the most literal sense.
Without further ado, I think we should go right into the... we're going to have some pictures here we took with them.
We took some pictures.
Maybe some clips or something, whatever comes out. And I will put a link at the bottom to our lightsaber videos because that's what we're there on the interview for. So you'll be able to look in the description.
And we can also get you a link to iHeartRadio just so you guys can listen to Rex and Gino in the mornings.
You can listen to C101 no matter where you are in the entire world if you have the app.
That's right.
iHeartRadio, or go to their page and
check them out. Yeah, and these guys are awesome. Their Facebook page got a lot of great funny content, and not only that, but the music on the station it's metal, it's rock.
Well, certainly, yeah.
It's definitely our kind of thing, as you can tell by our Iron Maiden stuff and everything else. So definitely check them out, and here's the show without further ado.
Two guys in the morning on C101 Rex and Gino and Thrand and Eldgrim in our studio. Did I nail it? Did I say it right?
Yeah.
There you
got
go.
it correct.
All right, now the Thrand, who came up with these really unusual videos. First, do me a favor, hop up to the microphone and explain to people who you are and what you guys did and how many YouTube hits you've had. Give us the details.
Well, I'm Thrand Godfrey, and I'm here with Eldgrim. And what we do is we do historical videos. We started off a long time ago contesting Deadliest Warrior with the Viking versus Samurai episode. And then we started getting into stuff like the chain wasn't accurate or, so on. We just kept going with different videos. And that one was a pretty big hit. We got a lot of views on that.
Now, when you do these videos, is it because you want to prove the movie makers wrong in some ways? And you go, that'd be just impossible to handle a weapon like this.
In this video that we did, that's what we were trying to do. Is in this one, it was actually just trying to prove that all these skeptics about J.J. Abrams' new lightsaber, that it's going to cut his arms off. Yeah. He's not going to be able to fight with proper lightsaber technique, whatever that is. Mm-hmm. It's dangerous. You can't use it. It's not going to be effective like the old lightsabers.
It's so wild to me that people would really click into this thing and be so into it. It's wild how your videos exploded, because from the outside looking in, you go, what are these guys doing? They're in the backyard, they're swinging this, and you do have some skills, by the way, with that big sword. I noticed that. It's not like you're a guy swinging a broomstick out there. But
thank you.
But you dip the, you dip the, and I'm going to use the wrong, what do you dip? You're dipping what in paint? It's sort of to symbolize what that lightsaber, the T of the handle, you dip it in paint, and how much paint did you end up with on your body by the time you were done swinging that thing around?
Well, you look here, I actually have a few little specks on this shirt.
He's wearing the same
shooting
shirt.
The video, yeah. And
he's like, I didn't take off the shirt.
The latex paint was flying everywhere. It got all over Eldgrim.
Right, it just flew everywhere.
Yeah. Now, have you guys always been fans of Star Wars or just movies in general? I imagine you guys have, if I'm looking at you right now, I'm saying, here's two guys who definitely have some 16-sided dice in their pockets right now from playing D&D when they were kids.
Well, actually, that's a 20-sided die.
Come on, get with it.
Sorry. We started out watching things like Akira Kurosawa films, which is what inspired George Lucas, and I think that's what a lot of people see when they watch Star Wars, is that samurai kind of style with the lightsaber. And so now they're coming out with this Crossguard, the Corellians on the lightsaber, and everybody wants to still see that Asian kind of style, and so there was this big uproar about those crossguards, and so we wanted
would they work or would they be effective?
Right,
right. Or hinder you.
Yeah.
Two guys, y'all stick around for me for 2 seconds right here. Two guys in the morning right here on C101, and we're going to talk to some more to these guys. It's Thrand and Eldgrim. Did I say it right?
You got it.
And we can now. What's the title of the video so all those people out there that are deeply into Star Wars can go and watch on YouTube? Because you guys are local guys. How many hits have your videos had now?
Just over 600,000.
Wow,
that's pretty sweet.
A month and a half.
You're about ready to get an internet check. That's awesome.
It keeps going. Keeps going. We keep getting hits. On the weekends, it goes up really high.
That's great. Stick around. Two guys in the morning right here on C101. Rex and Gino right here on C101. Okay, so now what's the name of the video you guys star in?
Okay, this video, the newest one, we've actually done 3 of them. The other ones are just follow-ups and replies to people, but it's Star Wars Episode 7 Crossguard Lightsaber Test. Okay. Is it dangerous?
Is it dangerous?
Is it dangerous?
And did it prove to be dangerous?
I think it's totally doable. I mean, it's totally a viable thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do it as long as you're skilled and know what you're doing. If you picked it up and you didn't know what you were doing, you might get hurt.
Now, what you guys are missing at home is the fact that every time that we stop to play a commercial, you guys just go off on your own tangent. I'd rather y'all do that. I shouldn't even tell you when we're on the air because y'all... What is this? What is this? You said you guys are in this society. What is this thing?
The Society of Creative Anachronism. They do historical reenactment, and anachronism means at a place or at a time. So they do anything from the year 500 up to the year 1700. And we have a local group called Shire of Sea Winds. They meet every Sunday out at the water gardens and actually practice fighting in armor. And we have quite a few fighters right now. So if you go out, you can participate and watch.
How many fighters are out there?
Right now, I think we have about 5 or 6 active fighters that normally show up. Maybe more if more come down from
Has anyone ever been tased while they're down there?
No.
Put the weapon down, sir. No, just film a YouTube video. Put the weapon down.
It's okay, I'm in the acronym group over here. We're just, the acronym is of a Society of the 600,000 YouTube hits.
Yeah, there you go. But no, we have lots of control. We have marshals out there. No one they call hold if anybody gets near them or anything. So there's nobody's going to get hit or hurt or anything.
Wow.
It's not actually in armor and fighting with rattan weapons. The sword we used in the video is actually a rattan sword used in that style of combat. It's actually solid wood with a metal handle. It's actually actual weight. It's the weight of a long sword or hand and a half sword.
Huh.
Yeah.
So do you guys? All right. I imagine say the ATF comes to your house today.
I hope not.
How many illegal swords are we going to find?
Well, actually, swords aren't illegal, but I have
an illegal sword.
I have a lot of arms and armor that come in from Medieval Shop. I have a company in Australia that just ships me stuff.
Really?
I've got a guy who does Bronze Age weapons, Neil Burridge.
That's right, Neil Burridge.
Yeah.
And we've done a Bronze Age weapons and actually tested those out. We're going to do a whole Iliad special eventually.
I think it's really cool.
Should be fun.
Here's the deal. I've always told people, if you've got something that's a passion for you, you should go for it. If you're a guy who's 40 and you're into model rocketry, I expect you to go play with your rockets. If you're a guy who's into RC cars, I expect you should do what makes you happy. There's too many people that are going to tell you to grow up too fast and put down all those childish toys and things that you don't like. You guys look completely happy doing what you're doing and what you love. Some people may not understand it, and who cares? I think it's really cool that you guys are doing this on your weekends and your free time. I bet when that TLC's Giant Swords promo came on, you guys probably had boners. Second that thing came on, it's like, giant swords! They're making a show, and it's about giant swords! Did you realize there's a company that makes giant swords? You guys had to call each other immediately, I bet, the second you found out about that.
We consider ourselves and have been named by other professionals in the field of anthropology as experimental archaeologists. We do a lot of hands-on anthropology. It's sort of an immersive cultural anthropology. So we don't just look at an artifact and say this is how it works. We look at artifacts and try to recreate representations of that artifact.
And see how those tools actually work.
Exactly.
Tell the truth, we beat the hell out of each other with it.
Yeah,
that's true.
Much.
That's true. I end up taking the brunt of that. I'm the crash test dummy. I'm the guy that gets thrown around. I'm the one that gets beaten. I tell you, I get beaten black and white, not black and blue, mind you. We're talking real pain.
Are there chicks? Do we have girlfriends?
Oh, I'm married. I have a wife, Andy, and 2 sons.
All right.
Okay.
I have Laura and Garrick, my 5-year-old and my 3-year-old, and we have one on the way named Njal.
Wow.
Congrats.
She actually uses Old Norse names. So
Nice.
My wife's from New Zealand. So.
Nice.
Well, as for me, I'm still sowing my wild oats. I'm still single, ladies. So hit me up.
Hello.
Check out my sword.
We'll throw some video. Yeah, check this out. Let me unsheath this one.
Wing.
So what's the next tool, the next sword, the next implement you guys are going to test? Or I mean, you've got to have like a head full of ideas of things you want to do. Are there too many to test, and you just have to figure out which one you think will be successful?
One thing we want to do, and this may sound insane, but people want us to test and see if the rumor of Vikings jumping off of ships or men jumping off of ships drowned in armor. So we want to find a pool somewhere and test different armors and see if we can actually swim in them.
Really?
That might be a little scary, but I'm pretty good at holding my breath, so if I have to walk from one side of the pool to the other, I could probably pull it off.
Wow. I can tell you those guys would sink to the bottom like a lead weight, man.
Yeah, we're not sure, but
Wow.
it depends on how much armor and what type.
I guess I never really thought about stuff like that. Like
When a Viking jump and they're all like clang, clang, clang,
like big
swimming.
anchors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those guys couldn't have stayed afloat
But
very
as
long.
for weapons testing, we have a bunch of stuff, like I said, coming in from one of our sponsors that sends us stuff to test out.
Yeah.
And he's sending us a bunch of different swords. I mean, I can't even go through all the names of we're going to a 13th century arming sword.
Nice.
Yeah, we're going to get he's sending out another Viking sword, a later century one from the Norman era.
Yeah.
Like when actually William the Conqueror came over to England, the Battle of Hastings, 1066. He's sending
Wait
us
a minute. You guys actually know your stuff. I mean, we're not talking about, what's so weird is a lot of people I probably think may mislabel you at first and go, okay, these are some geek guys who are playing with some swords and whatnot. But just by talking to you here, I go, wait a second, this guy actually knows his history. He knows his stuff. 2 guys in the morning on C101. Okay, now wait a second. See, this is what always happens with interviewed guests. We have them in the studio, and they start telling us brilliant stories, and then we have to tell them, stop, don't talk anymore. It's not that we're being rude. I just don't want to waste any gems during a commercial. Now, you just told me a moment ago that you were featured in poetry from the blotter. Tell me,
certainly.
What happened?
15 years ago on your show. Well, it was before your show. Actually, I'd gone out drinking, and my ex-wife, which I'm no longer with, I'm not naming anybody or anything, had talked to somebody that had stole stuff from my house, and I didn't want him there. And all this. I said, do not let him come over, whatever you do.
Okay.
And she supposedly told him the same thing I did. I heard her. This guy came over, let himself in through the window. I had passed out after drinking all night, laying there naked in the floor. This man steps right on my genitalia, right on my right as he comes through the window. Yeah. So I jumped up, started hollering at him. He realizes he's in trouble. He's freaking out. I guess he's on, I don't know what he's on, drunk and stuff and everything. And grabs my sword off the wall and starts threatening me, saying she invited him over. She comes out telling him to get out of the house.
You're kidding.
I'm being honest. It was a sword off the wall.
I kind of remember a story like that.
Well, do you remember anything about the poem or how it went?
You said something about a 4-foot sword with a naked man chasing a guy who broke in his house down the street.
Oh, that is hilarious.
I kind of remember something like that.
Right. Well, what had happened, I took it away from him, and I got my arm cut. There's still a little nick right here on my arm where I got cut. And when I got away from him, I didn't want to really hurt him, but I was like trying to scare him out of the house. So this guy's trying to get out the door any way he can and get it unlocked. Like all these locks on the door and everything. So I'm standing there screaming, trying to get him out. And once he gets out, I chase him just to make sure he knows not to ever come back naked. And there's neighbors watching me and stuff.
Are we sure this is not an episode of Cheaters?
I'm pretty sure I've seen that.
But I'm saying make sure I'm keeping my distance, to be honest. I didn't want to, actually attack the guy. I could have seriously hurt him, but, I didn't want to, you know what I'm trying to say.
That's awesome, man. Well, I'm glad that you were one of our...
It was scary as heck, though. I mean, I actually got hurt trying to get this thing away from me.
Well, I'm glad you were
somebody
one
has
of
a
our
sharp thing, even though it's not...
featured blotter performers.
That survived.
That's great. All right, now tell me where to find the videos before we wrap this up. Where can people find... the YouTube videos.
It's under Thrand. If you just go to YouTube and type in Thrand, Thrand.
Okay.
But it's Thane Thrand. But it's an old spelling of Thane, like they would have used in Old English or Old Norse, and it's Thegn.
Yeah, you go on our page too. I just posted the video a little while ago.
Okay,
the one
good.
that they were talking about from Star Wars, and from there you can see all the other ones.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
Well, guys, thanks for coming on and talking about the sword videos and the upcoming projects. And I think that we're lucky to be one of the first to have you on. You've been all over the world now, interviewed by various media outlets. And how has that been for you, talking to people in another country?
Oh, it is. It's very odd, but like one of them we've done was Silvio Canto, which is a blog radio, and it's live. So you're sitting there, and it's insane because you're so scared of saying something wrong. And they ask us about the Gorn Cannon. We actually did the Star Trek Gorn Cannon, but MythBusters said you couldn't do.
What is a
powder
Gorn
by
Cannon?
hand? It was a big piece of bamboo that William Shatner or James T. Kirk, Captain Kirk, wrapped with rope. And then he made his own gunpowder on this planet that he was put to. It's called the Arena, the episode.
You guys did this one yourselves.
Yes.
And did it work?
Yes, it worked. We actually have the video online where we shoot a target. We have a shoot and see target.
And it's bamboo?
That's so
bamboo
great,
wrapped with rope with tailored gunpowder that we make by hand and show you the proper, not trying to teach people how to do that, but that it could be done, and the MythBusters just didn't get it right that time. Because it's a blunderbuss, not a cannon. They try to make this big cannon and blew it up.
And they're making a living doing this, Gino. That's the best part of all, or you're about to. That's great, man.
I'm hoping, and we're hoping it. If everybody roots on us there and hopes for us, then maybe it'll happen.
We're going to take some pictures here, and we'll post them online as well. Guys, thanks for being part of the broadcast right there. Gino, clap those hands for me. That is so awesome. Two Guys in the Morning right here on C101.